everyone, I'm Hayley. I'm always in the craft room, and let me start by wishing you a happy new year. We had a wonderful Christmas break, lots of family, the kids had such a wonderful time. We really enjoyed it, but I'm very glad to be back in the craft room. As you can see, still super tidy from the guests. I haven't even got all my machines out yet, but don't worry. I have had time to get a couple of little sewing projects in. So I've got those to share with you, a couple of completed projects for myself, one for the kids, and a few Christmas presents to show you. So let's get started with my final Christmas present that I had to sew, which you might remember from my last Friday sews. I had to make some Octonauts hats. So if you are not familiar with the Octonauts, it's a television program about some seafaring creatures who rescue and protect other ocean life. Editing Hayley here. If you're watching with kids, please turn this video off now to avoid spoilers. Thank you. And the kids asked Father Christmas for some Octonauts hats, and let me tell you, could not get them for love nor money. I looked on Amazon, Etsy, eBay, in the shops. I tried everywhere, and it soon became apparent I would have to make them myself. Now, I start Christmas shopping usually in September. This year, I had some stuff going on. I didn't get started till October. By mid-November, it was clear I wasn't going to be able to buy these and I would have to make them myself, which is no problem. I love sewing, and I'm so pleased that I was able to make these, because if I wasn't a mum who sews, then the kids just wouldn't have got Octonauts hats. So I'm really proud of how they turned out, but it was a trial because we live in the middle of nowhere and I batch my errands. So I have a running list of everything I need from the village, everything I need from town, and everything I need to look for in the city. And yeah, I started trying to source felt fabric in the correct colour for this back in November, and I did not manage to find any until I was in the city to meet a friend for dinner the first week of December. So I was a bit stressed out. We were on a time limit, and the fabric shop had felt on a bolt by the metre for £6.99 in every colour under the sun except Air Force Blue. It had like 4 different shades of forest green. Anyway, they did have pre-cuts of felt in the correct colour that were 12-inch squares. They were really overpriced. They were like £2 a square, and I didn't know how many I needed. And this is where I'm annoyed at myself, really, because the pattern pieces for this pattern, I found the pattern on Etsy and I will link it below. It's just for a sailor hat. The pattern pieces were like, the biggest one was that big. So I could have taken the pattern pieces with me and then been able to lay them out in the shop and work out how many I needed. Did I think to do that? No. So I had to guess. And obviously the pattern's written for fabric by the yard because it's an American pattern, but I can convert that to meters. But I didn't know how many 12-inch squares I would need. I didn't want to overbuy, but I also didn't want to underbuy because I knew it was the last time I would be in the city before Christmas. Anyway, I bought 5 12-inch squares hoping to make 2 sailors' hats, and it was tight. I did have to piece one of them, but I did it on the inner brim, and that's where I went wrong, really. I didn't account for the fact that I would need to make an inner and an outer brim and then 6 of these pieces. The pattern is written for lining it, which I did not do because, you know, kids play hat. I'm trying to find, I can't even find where I pieced it, so it obviously wasn't a problem. Did I do it wrong and it's popped up on the outer brim? I swear I had to cut one of the brims in 2 parts. Where has it gone? Oh, it's there. So yeah, no one's going to notice, are they? So in the end, I'm actually pleased that I only bought 5 squares because I would have been annoyed to have had a load left over. And because I was on a time crunch, I thought, you know what? I was going to buy these. I was going to just pay for them off Etsy or eBay or Amazon, in which case they would be terrible quality. So I just freed myself from the perfectionism and just said they only have to be as good as what I could have bought. And if you've ever bought dress up clothes for kids, the quality is not great. So I decided not to finish any of the seams. That's why I wanted to use felt. And you know what? They're fine. I'll try one on for you and show you the other one. So the pattern, because it is for like a true sailor hat, does it in a very clever way where you double the brim, you line the innards, and then you turn all of the seam allowances to the inside and bind it internally so you get a really lovely flat finish. I partly couldn't be bothered with all of that. Secondly, I didn't want to line it because I didn't have enough fabric. Thirdly, it was getting very bulky because it's felt. So I didn't follow the instructions. I just kind of went my own way. I assembled the crown, made 2 brims, top stitched it. That was so much fun. I love top stitching, and this was such a lovely sew. That when I had then got all the bits together, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to attach them how I want them to be and bind the edge. And when I looked at the pictures of the Octonauts, they do have a royal blue stripe partway up the brim, and I thought the kids aren't going to notice if it's at the bottom of the brim or partway up. So I decided to just bind it in a royal blue, which I had in the stash, because I had nothing in this kind of sky blue colour to match. So actually that worked out absolutely brilliantly. And this is just a poly cotton that I had left over from making scrubs during the pandemic. So, you know, when there was a shortage of PPE, I joined a group that were making scrubs for GPs and hospital doctors who would normally wear their own clothes, who wanted to wear scrubs so that they could change between patients and easily wash them, but didn't want to purchase scrubs that were destined for the front line. So I made some royal blue scrubs from this poly cotton, had some left over, and it was perfect for this project. For the little Octonaut symbol, I printed out the symbol, just found it online, drew around it and just cut it out in felt in the white, then a circle in a royal blue. I had to buy 3 different colours of felt to do this project, and then white again, and I just hot glued it on, and it will be fine, I'm sure. If it's not, I can glue it on again. If that fails again, I can always hand stitch it on. As I say, my overriding principle was make them as good as kids' dress up clothes, and if it turns out they wear them all the time and, you know, they don't last, I've got the pattern, I can make new ones, can't I? Anyway, on Christmas Day, they unwrap them, and I've got to say, this is why I don't particularly love sewing for other people, and particularly the kids, because they have no concept of what goes into hand making something. They really could not care less if it was shop bought or if I made it. And on Christmas Day, they unwrap them, they're like, oh, great, Octonauts hats. Put them to one side. Obviously, they opened so much fun stuff that, yeah, they weren't the biggest hit on Christmas, but they have worn them loads since and they do play with them. So I think they're super cute. I'm really proud of them. And as I said, I will link the pattern below. So sticking with the Christmas theme, do you want to see a couple of Christmas related presents I got? They're not really Christmas related, sewing related. So the first one is something I've been after for ages that my husband bought me. Some of you will be like, that's kind of rude. He bought me a handheld Hoover. But I did actually really want one because clearing up in the craft room when you've just got a few threads on the floor, it's annoying. So you can see it's already full of threads. I'm super pleased with it. It does exactly what I wanted it to do. So thank you very much for that. And also tangentially sewing related, and not a present actually. My mum just gave me this because she'd read it and enjoyed it and said I might like it. It is The Other Side of the Coin by Angela Kelly, who was the Queen's dresser. I don't know if you've heard about this book, But it's all about the lady who dressed the Queen. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into that and hearing all about the Queen's wardrobe and so on. And last but not least, a present I actually bought for myself and then told my husband to wrap up is 4 of these A3 cutting mats. So if you're in the UK, you might recognise the branding. It's Sarah Ashford for Home Bargains. And I spotted these when I was Christmas shopping in Home Bargains. Nabbed a couple because they had 2 colourways. They had turquoise and pink. If you know me, you know it's got to be turquoise. So throughout December, every Home Bargains I went in, I was trying to grab some more. I've only managed to get 4. They were $3.99 each, which is an absolute bargain for a cutting mat. And what I would love to do is I'll probably stick them all together with tape on the underside and then lay them on my cutting table so that I can remove them if I need. I don't want to actually glue them down to the cutting table because, as many of you will know, this is a flex space. We use it for entertaining a lot. And that's my summer barbecue buffet table where I lay out bread rolls and ketchup and cheese slices and napkins and things. So I do want it to be removable, but I would love to have that cutting table as somewhere I can lay out large pattern pieces and cut all the way around them with my rotary cutter. I know that by butting mats up against each other, I probably will get a little thread or 2 in between mats that I need to go back and snip, but still, to have that all as a cutting surface will be absolutely amazing. So let's get on to the 2 little projects that I finished for myself. The first one is some much needed new underwear. You can see I didn't have stretch lace elastic that quite matched for the armholes. I did for the leg holes. I don't mind. And this is a test pair actually because I have been using the same pant pattern. It's not self-drafted, it's kind of a mashup. I've been using it for years and I've decided I want them to come up a bit higher. Waistlines are getting higher. I'm getting older. I need some fuller coverage briefs and this is my first go at those. So I want to wear those a few times, see what I think, and if I am happy with them, then I'm going to spend one of my days off, my sewing days, batch cutting and batch sewing a load of those because goodness me, I need them. And the other thing I made, I fell down a rabbit hole on YouTube. Does this happen to you too? Does anyone know what this is? Have you been watching the same videos as me? Have you noticed my curly hair? I made an overnight hair curler thingy. I'm sure this is not a new invention. Since time immemorial, people have tried to curl their hair and I've come up with various contraptions. So this is a way to curl your hair overnight with no heat. And basically you buy or make, if you're a sewer, one of these. And then I'm sure I'm teaching grandma to suck eggs here, but you pop it on there, clip it with a claw clip, lay it like that, and then you wrap your hair around it and sleep on it. So I saw this on YouTube at 6 p.m. last night. Well, before I went to bed, I had to have one of these. So I quickly ran over to the craft room, made one up from this scrap of, it's crafting polyester, but you want something a bit slippery so it doesn't damage your hair. And then all of the tutorials I saw said it works better on dry hair, but my hair cannot hold a curl, seriously. I went to a Christmas party and I actually went to the hairdresser and he curled it for me. And when I left the salon at 2 p.m, it was actual ringlets. I looked like Curly Sue. And by the party, it was straight with a gentle wave at the bottom. So my hair does not hold a curl. So I decided to do it wet. So I washed my hair last night, put this on, rolled it up still wet, and then you put scrunchies on the end to secure the curls, if you just put in the YouTube search bar, overnight no heat curls, you will get a lot of tutorials that will be far better than mine. I am not a hair girly at all. I'm a wash and let it air dry kind of gal. Anyway, I put a silk scarf on my head overnight. I looked ridiculous. I actually slept all right. I thought I might find it annoying, but I didn't. And then this morning, I just put some hairspray on and pulled it out, and check me out. I actually love it. I'm so pleased with how it's turned out. I think it's really fun. So yeah, who knew? I don't know how long they'll hold. But it was great fun to do. And also it was so easy. It was literally, if you sew, you know what to do. I sewed a tube right sides together, turned it out, top stitched the end, and I just stuffed it with fiberfill toy stuffing that I had from crocheting things for the kids. Not too full because you don't want it like stuffed so it doesn't bend over your head, but not too empty that when you wrap your hair around it, it compresses. So yeah, some good bit of like in between Christmas and New Year self-care fun. The other thing I was working on over Christmas was my crochet top, and I've made pretty good progress. So this is the Ellery sweater by Ruby Webbs, and I love this pattern. I've made it before. I'm doing pretty well, aren't I? I am now at the point where I want to split for the arms. So I want this to be a cap sleeve summer top. The pattern is for a long sleeve jumper. And basically, you make a raglan sleeve by doing 3 increases 4 times front and like basically each raglan seam. And so with every round, the top grows longer and it gets wider. These sleeves are as long as I want them, but I still need more width. So I've been messing around with the pattern a bit, and what I've decided to do is where these are doubles, so a double crochet gives you quite a lot of length, I've switched at the arms to singles, which are shorter, to kind of make a cuff, I guess, but then I'm still getting to make the body wider. I hope that makes sense. It might not if you don't crochet. Sorry if you don't and you're not interested, but there we go. So I need to try this on with proper underwear. I crochet of an evening, by which time I'm in my pajamas. So the last few try-ons have been indeterminate as to whether I'm ready to actually, you can see here, I've clipped it so I can try it on, whether I'm ready. But I'm really enjoying that pattern. It is just so nice, and it's a simple pattern in that I never have to refer to the instructions. I can just do it without looking because it's so methodical. And yeah, I've been really enjoying it. So I hope if you celebrate Christmas, you had a good one. I hope if you don't, you got a bit of a break. I have got a few more videos to film today, so we'll see how much the hair drops. They'll be coming out over the next few weeks, but you might notice what order I film them in from how curly I am. I hope you enjoyed that little catch up, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.